Today's AskReddit post. Tattoo artists of Reddit. What is the most WTF project that made you seriously question your client's sanity? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. My first tattoo artist told me his woman came in wanting Where's Waldo peeking out of her vagina. He told her to go home, sleep on it, and come back the next day if she really wanted it. She was there when the shop opened. I'm trying to imagine exactly where he put Waldo. On the side, on the labia majora, down the perineum to avoid the labia altogether? Was it just the top of Waldo's head or Waldo from the waist up? Was he standing, crawling, trying to escape, trying not to be seen? I could go on and I'm so sad I will never know the answers to these important questions. I'm fuzzy on the details. It was 17 years ago, but I think it was his hands on the labia and his head and shoulders coming out by the clit, like he was climbing out of it. He did say it was one of the most painful looking tattoos he's done. I don't have a vagina, but that makes me clench my cheeks in pain. I have a vagina and this makes me clench my vagina in pain. Had a client ask to make his nipple into Pinocchio's face. It was weird, but he was happy and we had a good laugh. And now he can only lie when it's cold out. Take my upvote. Hahaha. My tattoo artist said a guy tried to win his possible father-in-law by tattooing the name of his business. Of course he and the girl broke up later on. That sounds like a textbook example for regrettable tattoos. No regrets. Dude, you spelled regrets wrong. Like he said no regrets. Not an artist, but I was in a tattoo shop with a friend. There for moral support while they got there first. Well, we're waiting in the lounge area for my friend's appointment, and this guy walks out from the back area, shirtless. Across his chest in digital clock font is best lover, one word on each pec. My friend and I's jaws dropped. The guy just paid the person at the front desk and left. The tattoo artist, I assumed, who followed him outside loudly and just kind of laid his head down on the counter before calling for his next appointment. Not us. I think maybe the artist wasn't proud of this one. I honestly feel bad for artists that have to give people extra cringe-worthy tattoos like that. Charge them extra for the embarrassment and just move on with your life. Not a tattoo artist, but I do know a guy who got "don't hire" tattooed across his knuckles. That's a weird combo of poor judgment and high self-awareness. Nah, he's playing 3D chess. He can show his unemployment officer that he is genuinely putting in applications, but nobody will hire him for some wild reason, lol. One of the other artists, for some reason, had been wanting to tattoo a bloody tampon on someone. Well, this lounge lizard was like, you can do it on me. This artist drew it onto where it took up the entirety of his inner upper arm. He did it. The guy let him. Da fuck. I used to know someone who was a lounge lizard once. In the same type of fashion, he let an artist tattoo a donkey pulling his pants down and mooning you on his ass. An ass showing his ass on his ass. Exception. We have to go deeper. It wasn't me, but when I was still an apprentice, a girl came in to get tattooed by my boss. She had a 4-leaf clover tattooed on her clit, and she wanted my boss to go over it, and was saying that it was pretty faded. She seemed normal at the front desk and we exchanged small talk, and then I went back with her and was setting up my boss station. To make casual conversation, I asked the client if it hurt a lot to get tattooed down there. This question changed something in her, and she turned to me with this crazy expression and said honestly, "I like the pain." I nervous laughed and luckily was done setting up and ducked off. My boss goes into his office with her and closes the door. Then, not even 5 minutes go by and I hear the door open and she fast walks out and leaves the shop. I was like, WTF just happened, as my boss walks out, and he explains to me that the tattoo didn't look faded at all. It was perfectly legible and looked recent. But the whole time she was begging him to go over it just a little bit and got extremely pushy until she just flat out started trying to seduce him until he told her to leave. It happened all so fast, but I know I'll never forget that one. Damn. It sounds like it gave her the best orgasm ever or something to get tattooed there. So, I am a dom and have some experience in BDSM. What this lady did is not ethical, as consent is key in any and all interactions. but I think I can explain the appeal. This woman strikes me as someone who is a masochist and can switch between dom and sub with ease, but prefers the sub role. To her, getting tattooed on the clit would not necessarily be a physical orgasm, though it could be, but rather a full being, holistic experience. Extremely sensitive area in pain, laid out and exposed in front of a virtual stranger who nonetheless is only there of your volition and vibrations. Semi-public. People know what's going on. They know she's a dirty girl. In her mind, the artists couldn't care less. Maybe they'll think of her later and touch themselves again. In her mind, I imagine this experience checked a lot of kinky boxes for her. Still incredibly unethical though. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Oh wow, thank you for the insights. I mean, this could be perfectly incorrect but still very insightful. And the fact that you could recognize these things as well. Well done. Tick. Thank you. I am a dom with a pronounced sadistic streak, so being able to put myself in others' shoes is critical. I like to hurt, but I don't like to hurt, you know, and empathy is crucial to that. Obviously so are consent, boundaries, and safe words. I'm not, but my friend is apparently a guy came in a year ago and wanted pickle Rick on his dick. Not small like the whole thing green with the face. She didn't do it, but he got it done at someone's home and came in like 6 months ago to ask her if she wanted to see. That must have been quite the spectacle. She turned him down, but I really wish I got to see it. Imagining myself as a woman, I could see not wanting to be exposed to a man's pickle penis. LOL. Pickle dick. I won a worst tattoo competition against a woman who had tattoo of Betty Boop bottomless and spread eagle with a puddle underneath her cooch. What was your tattoo? I didn't do this, but my colleague from studio did. Mechanic heart stabbed with massive, shiny, metal penis. That was cool. I had question about swastika. I don't do shit like this. I would love to see that. I recently saw a heart tattoo, but all of the major arteries were massive schlongs. It was quite unique to say the least. Haha. I'm legit going to get a black dot on my finger for the perfect water to rice ratio. Sibling. That's what your joints are for. Are just Asian things. Edit. It is a sub. It's just very dead. I will get a tattoo of my own face tattooed on the back of my bald head. Quirrell style. That'd be cool. As long as it doesn't talk or require unicorn blood. Not an artist. Once knew a guy with a rape joke tattoo, depicted by Mickey Mouse like rats with surprise sex written over them. SMDH. Yikes. That's a bit disturbing. Maybe not the worst, but while in the service someone had a large kanji tattoo that they said meant demon. Guy with native Japanese parents laughed and pointed out that, though the translation isn't perfect, the tattoo actually would be read as taco. Jeez. I hope he likes tacos at least. Who doesn't like tacos? Only the most mentally disturbed dislike tacos. Joking aside, I have never heard of anyone who dislikes tacos. You don't need a Reddit thread for this, just watch the UK tattoo fixers. 5 series of all the nonsense people get tattooed on themselves, or, in a few cases, physically tattooed on themselves. I've never heard of that, but I'll have to check it out. It's a pretty good show. Funny, they've got a couple of tattoo artists. Client comes in, shows their god-awful tattoos that they got when drunk or young, tells the story of how they got them and roughly what they want it covered with, something like flowers or an anchor or something like that. The artists then each sketch out a concept and show the client, who picks one that then gets done. The cover-ups they do are amazing. Don't think I ever saw a bad one. Is that the one with the god-awful cheap skits when they narrate the bad tattoo? I fast forward there, it cheapens the whole show emo. I came for clever cover-ups, not MTV in the 90s. Try America's Worst Tattoos. Same concept. No skits. Saw a guy with the word beer written in massive fiery block letters across his lower back. Tramp stamp style. At the beach. That's kind of scary. Haha. In the moment I just thought trashy, but in retrospect yeah, he was on another level. Mayo. Neighbor was concerned about a known pedophile that moved into an adjacent neighborhood. I asked how she knew he was a real pedophile since it is a hot button issue in America and could be a false accusation or something not that serious. She showed me a picture and the dude had a tattoo of Homer Simpson penetrating Bart Simpson from behind. I mean WTF. Wonder what artist did that one. I'm surprised he got an artist to actually do that one. Guy in tech school had me draw a tattoo for him of a turtle being shot out of a cannon with a bow staff in one hand and some nunchucks in the other. The turtle was a mix of a Koopa and Ninja Turtle wearing Chuck Taylors. The placement had it being shot up towards his nipple where it looks like it's about to bite it. I accepted free Wi-Fi as payment. He was known for getting weird tattoos such as his laundry mark on his lower back and his MTI's name and current rank on his calf. A nice guy, but good god he had weird taste in tattoos. That sounds kind of cool actually. Not saying I would get that as a tattoo, but it would definitely be a fun art project. My friend had a girl's name one-lined and initialed. It's what you do if you duck up in a naval log. Getting a girl's guy's name tattooed on yourself has got to be the oldest worst tattoo. He was in the Navy. She banged a dude that got discharged from our unit because he was diabetic. She did that for over a year. He even paid to fly him and his ex-wife to Hawaii together as we weren't sure the exact date we were getting, so my buddy literally paid for the two hunks of shit to be in Hawaii for a week together alone. Whoa, that's wild. So for clarification, he got her name tattooed on himself because he messed up going out with her in the first place? My time to shine. I tattooed half Baywatch Pamela Anderson and half Hitler on a dude's ass cheek. Pamela's body in the red swimsuit with red life preserver but with Hitler's face. Change the Baywatch logo to Jewatch. Dude is Jewish before the hate comes. I am so confused. This'll clear things up. Art Hitler. Yo, what in the goddamn duck? It's a form of humor that's really subjective. I think in my case it helps me deal with atrocities by reframing the perpetrators in a comedic light. Other dictators are pretty rare though. I've yet to find a sexy Pol Pot. I'm not the artist, but I did get a pretty WTF tattoo. A couple Super Bowls ago I bet my friend that Tom Brady wouldn't throw an interception. If I lost I had to get my friend's initials tattooed on me. Of course Tom Brady threw a pick, so I had to go get a tattoo. Now we didn't specify what part of my body the tattoo had to be on, so I chose to get my friend's initials tattooed on my taint. My artist says it's his most told story. That sounds like the most painful place you could have chosen for a tattoo. How bad was it? Honestly it wasn't bad. But it's also the smallest tattoo I've gotten. Most painful areas have been back of the knee, collarbone, and butt. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought ass would be that painful. It's pretty bad. In general bone and fat hurt the most. Not a tattoo artist. I had been thinking of a set of tattoos on my wrist for about 9 months at this point. Putting a lot of time and consideration into doing something that would permanently mark my body. On the day I go in for the tattoos, a friend of mine joined me. She told me she never considered getting a tattoo but thought it could be fun. That same day, she got a $600 tattoo of a Japanese cherry blossom tree that covered half of her chest, the side mostly, extending to the back and the front, going down to the waist and up to the breast. I mean, cherry blossoms are really beautiful. At least she didn't get anything obnoxious. Same, don't see anything wrong with this tattoo. I think Op has a problem with impulsive tattoos. Impulsive $600 tattoo that covers half the front and back of torso. This made me question their sanity. Rather, questioned whether they were inebriated at least. GF is tattoo artist and I helped her Photoshop what the client wanted. Dude wanted to tattoo his ex-GF. Already a questionable choice, right? He wanted his ex-GF's face combined with a cat. And he didn't even give us a specific cat. Dude literally said find a cat off the internet, so we did. Photoshopped his ex-GF's eyes onto the cat and I questioned my existence as I pressed save. It's a good thing we persuaded him out of it. But holy duck, imagine if he met another girl in the future and she asked WTF is this cat person on your chest? I once tattooed 2 dicks in the eyeballs of a burning skull. I asked and she said it reminds her of her grandma. My god. Sounds like either a cool ass grandma or a grandma from hell. I have no ducking idea, man. He asked a tattoo that said I don't like monk. Stink monk. My teacher once told us that her brother while on holiday with friends got a tattoo done of their Snapchat tags. I think that's what they're called. The thing that you scan to get to their account. On their upper thigh. She knows this because she was asked at 2 in the morning to translate all this into Spanish for the tattoo artist. The most shocking thing about the whole ordeal is that when you scanned them, it worked. It actually went to their account successfully. That's actually really impressive. Not a tattoo artist but an acquaintance of mine had a Nazi My Little Pony in a sexy uniform tattooed on his hip. Would love to be a fly on the wall when he requested that. I used to be big into MLP and I think I've actually seen this tattoo. Was it on a gender fluid man who is also a drag queen at times? I have Will DJ for food on my kneecap. Not too mad about it but it's trash for sure. Not a tattoo artist but when my artist was tattooing me, she told me about a guy she tatted named Pirate. No joke. Pirate. So Pirate apparently wanted basically his whole face tatted in black ink. Just big blocks of ink all over his face. Well, she did it for him. Had to call in a few extra people to the room because this guy was a weirdo and she didn't want to be alone with him while she was working on his face. She finished the tattoos and never saw him again. Until he hit the news. He was arrested in Alaska for kidnapping and holding some girl hostage or something like that. If you look up Pirate Alaska arrest it'll show up with this guy's mugshot and all his tattoos. Super creepy. I'm in Reno. NV2 so just adds to the weirdness I guess. Guy gets his whole face tattooed in Reno. Most likely then has to fly to Alaska from here. And kidnaps a girl and does all that stuff. Just why? Also imagine getting on a plane with that guy or being that guy getting on a plane. Also imagine how absolutely dirt ducking dumb you'd have to be to get such a ducking weird, identifiable, and unhideable tattoo, and then go commit crimes. One of my best friends is a tattoo artist. She's done an epic space whale on my thigh, and she's not had anything too mental although she rolls her eyes at people a lot. Someone asked her to tattoo an elephant on them but make it delicate XD I mean. Could they even pick an animal less delicate than elephant? And then there is the I want a Betty Boop but as slutty as possible. Definitely upper thigh or butt. This was a dude. She did say he ended up not being too creepy on the day, and he tipped on top of the tattoo cost. Not a tattoo artist but I was the client. I got Jingle tattooed on my balls. That was a weird one. That's amazing. It was a Christmas tattoo. I was getting a religious poem done on my arm and I joked should we color my balls in red like a bubble? And he said jingle balls would be hilarious. So, yay. Best 100 euros I ever spent. Not a tattoo artist. Shocker. But my cousin has company logos tattooed all over her body. She thought she could be a vlogger and get paid advertising the company. Some of her tattoos she got from friends who weren't tattoo artists. The result were very bad infections. I'm not an artist, but I'm pretty good friends with one. A walk-in, who was clearly strung out not fit to be tattooed. Asked him for a tattoo of the Holy Ghost. He asked her, well, what does it look like? She said she would come back when she found out. Personally I love all of my tattoos but I know some of them are pretty what the duck. I have a penis ghost in my left armpit and a vagina ghost in my right armpit. On my left shin I have a vice imp that is drinking absinthe, smoking a joint and choking his chicken. I used to know a guy who has the Taco Bell logo tattooed on his arm. He had a bunch of other shitty tattoos like a zombie Mickey Mouse and the cartoon Pop-Tarts with faces from the commercials. I actually saw a guy at the local grocery store with a large Nike swoosh on his neck. I immediately thought of that free real estate meme. LOL. This reminded me of a guy I knew in high school. He had 2 champion stars. Not sure if that's what they're called, but that's what the design was called in Halo 2. And the Monster Energy drink logo tattooed on his chest. I guess those aren't the worst tattoos ever. but they seemed to be placed randomly. There was no symmetry and seemingly no thought put into the placement. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.